Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we're back with more Cupid Parasite, and we're continuing Ryuki's route, and I swear to God, I keep forgetting everything that's happening because I normally try to play these games like every day, but since I have been, I'm in the moving process. I've been like talking about packing my stuff, but now I'm in the looking for places, and it has just, with trying to figure out like you think, you're like, this is the price range I want to look for, but there is nothing in that price range. Everything's going expensive, so you got to push and then just trying to do the math and doing things and then figuring it out and like contacting people and like going back and forth with it's like it's very stressful and I don't want to deal with it. So some days, because I've been doing all this stuff and I've been thinking about it and overanalyze, like I sit there for like I could sit here for about 3 hours and talk about it with you. Or I'm gonna try to keep it short. But like, so I will sit there and be like, okay, well, if I do that, but then like this work, and then what about this place? And I just overthink everything, and then I just overthink my overthinking, and then I just keep doing that. So the next thing I know, even though I normally log off work and then I come here and play games, I sit there and it's 2 hours later, and I'm like, I've been still at work, I'm not really doing anything, but like 2 hours past when I normally log off because I've just been, and then I'm like too exhausted to record, like mentally. So even though this is like I sat here yesterday and I was like sitting on the couch. I'm like, I just need a break because just let my brain stop. I'm gonna watch just a video or something. And then I was like, I should record. But I'm just so like mentally exhausted that even though this brings me joy and I've been having a lot of fun, I have fun playing these games and I have fun in Ryuki's route. I just couldn't motivate my brain to like want to. And so like that's why like it's been so hard for me to record this. Not because of this game, not because of the route, just because of like emotionally, mentally draining trying to deal with moving. So just bear with me. You'll still get parts every day, don't worry. I'm trying to keep ahead, but I used to be like, I'm like 2 months ahead, and now I'm like, we're like maybe 2 to 3 weeks ahead on this one, and we're falling further and further behind because I don't record every day. And even when I do, I'm so exhausted that I only record one part as opposed to some days where I used to be able to like I'll record two and then that's how I get ahead. Now I'm like, we're fucked. I don't know. So if there's ever a gap of like, hey, you didn't upload today and it's not instead of every other day, it's every third or fourth day, that's just because I didn't have enough space to fill. But I would only, if I was going to leave a gap, it would be between routes. I won't, but just in the next month or two, bear with me because this is going up in February. It's the end of January now. And February and March is going to, I'm trying to move as early as March. So I might be moving in the next month. So, like, try to get ahead. But this is just a very difficult time with the mental and emotional stress of doing all this and trying to keep ahead. So sorry if we get behind, but that's the short version of the story. That's the abridged version 3 minutes in. But anyway, so let's jump in and have some fun here. Anyway, before I realized it, the sun had gone down and night had descended. I don't forget what was happening. Oh, right, we were stalking them on their date, weren't they? Yeah. We followed the couple at a safe distance as they strolled through Lost York Park. Just then, Owen glanced behind him and seemed to look right at us. We panicked and dived into the nearby bushes. What's the matter? Oh, nothing. I was just thinking about how empty Lost York Park gets at night. Instead of the weirdos in the bushes stalking you. Owen rubbed his head, slightly embarrassed. Crouching there watching them, I looked over at Ryuki. This is adorable. I want a CG of us, like, crunched up in the bush. Listen, Ryuki, I think maybe we should get going. I tugged at his sleeve and he gave me a small nod. He's right that there's nobody else here. It's so quiet, and we definitely don't want them to notice us. I think they're going to notice you in the bush, and then you're just going to have to pretend you're making out in a bush. I mean, I wouldn't want to ruin their date. I got a good sense of how the dress looks at night, so we can head back now. He made this dress and he's like, I want to see what it looks like at night though. And in daytime and in the incandescent lighting and then blue lighting and purple lighting. Like, okay, get me one of those LED bulbs that changes colors. Come on, people. Okay, I honestly wasn't ready to leave yet, but I decided it'd be best to call it a night. We both started to stand up when all of a sudden, Ryuki froze. I peeked through the bushes to see what he was looking at, then let out a quiet gasp. Are they kissing? Don't tell me that. Because the two of them were kissing. No! Not my Owen! I just said I was emotionally stressed. You're gonna make me cry. Owen, why? No, and then they give me a CG of Owen kissing someone else? That is rude! Game. Rude. I do like that we got a picture of us in the bushes, because that's what I asked for. But, and Ryuki was adorable. But, like, also, excuse me. Oh, we get to see kind of the suit. Okay. All right. We only get to see, like, the collar and everything, but it's fine. It's cool. I'm just a little, I really like the neckline on that dress, though, because that's, like, the band around almost looks like a choker, but then you've got, like, the little shoulder cut out, and then you look like maybe it's cut out, like, open on the chest a little, like... Damn, Ryuki, your designs are amazing. Anyway, this disappoints me, though, because I don't want to see Owen even half kissing another woman. That just hurts my feelings. I know he's a side character, but he's my side piece, okay? And I don't appreciate this game. You're rude, and you hurt my feelings. I'm already stressed out, now you're gonna make me cry. Great, thanks. It's a good thing I don't have ice cream, because I would eat it all, okay? Anyway. What? Whoa. We covered our mouths to make sure we didn't make too much noise. Yeah, it's going to look really weird when they look over and you're like, what were we supposed to do? I couldn't afford to make a sound or even move a muscle. I love how Ryuki looks so... He's kind of adorable when he's embarrassed. He's really pretty in this CG. I had to stay perfectly still so that I didn't ruin the moment. As we stood there, our shoulders suddenly touched. We looked at one another as if each of us had bumped the other. For some reason I couldn't explain, I suddenly felt embarrassed. What the... As Ryuki stared at me, his face slowly started to turn red. His mouth opened, then closed, opened and closed again, as if he was struggling to say something. He's like, this is awkward. He seemed to be mouthing something like, I didn't... But no sound came out, so we just stood there, frozen. Ryuki and I stood there together, watching a new couple make out. I'm not sure why, but it was very, very awkward. I'm not sure why. Because you're skulking in the bushes watching a couple make out. It's just the definition of awkward. I'm pretty sure if you look up awkward in the dictionary, this is an example. Like, what does awkward mean? And it gives you the definition, then it's like, imagine you're standing in the bushes with another person staring at another couple making out. Awkward. Like, I mean... My heart was pounding so loud that I was sure they would hear it. Again, that would be even more awkward. Seeing two people kiss like that, I suddenly felt like... Kissing Ryuki? Oh! Oh, I like how that just... I was like, is the CG gonna change the way it just faded out? Finally, Ryuki turned his head away from me. I nervously turned my head back as well. We both held our breath and became as still as statues. We stood like that until Owen and Melanie finally made their way out of the park. Eventually, they disappeared from view and we could breathe again at last. Although I'll hand it to Owen, all the date stuff that they did. They went to the movies and then they went out and book shopping and then a little stroll in the park. It's at night and I mean, good job Melanie not being afraid he was going to like murder you in the park and bury you in the woods or some shit. I mean, it's Owen. Do we 100% trust him? I mean, our father's not mind controlling him, so sure, I'm sure he's fine. But, like, we played Shelby's route, so, look, Owen, little sus, but... Also, you don't really know this guy, so you don't know. He may seem nice, doesn't mean he is. You could get murdered. I'm just saying. Have you not watched SVU or, like, Criminal Minds or any shows like that? Girl, watch it. Anyway. But, like, you know, you're walking in the park holding hands, and it's just romantic kiss in the park. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I dig it. Good job, Owen. Good job. I'm just gonna pretend I'm Melanie in my heart. Anyway. Phew. Okay, we can finally get out of here. Okay. But when I tried to stand up, my legs felt like they turned to rubber. Oh, we're gonna fall into him. so he can catch us romantically. So tropey, but I like it. I stumbled and started to fall, but Ryuki reached out and steadied me. Just imagine him like arm's length, like 2 fingers holding you up, like, are you good? Because like I don't want to get closer to you. That would be Ryuki, but we're smart enough to fall directly into his chest. Come on. We know how to do this. Hey, are you okay? Sorry. I guess my feet went numb. I looked back up, straight into Ryuki's face. Both of our eyes went wide. We were so close. His face, his lips, were directly in front of me. The kiss we both just witnessed flashed through my mind again. It's kind of interesting that Melanie and Owen kissing was like, oh, it's making me horny for you, Ryuki. Just like, but now you're like, it's when you kind of have feelings for someone, maybe you like them, but you don't realize, and you watch other people are like making out, and you're like, oh wait, yeah, I kind of want to kiss. Oh wait, oh shit, like I think it's like dawning in her mind, like I'm actually interested in kissing Ryuki. Where did that thought come from? Oh shit. Ryuki's hands supporting me felt suddenly hot. I started to get lightheaded. I couldn't move. All day we'd been following Owen and Melanie on our date, and we'd basically had following Owen and Melanie on their date, and we'd basically had an imitation date of our own. I hear Ryuki's like, ugh. His lips parted slightly. His hands, the hands of a man, moved further up my arms. The hands of a man? A man? With him so close, my head felt like it was on fire. I forgot to breathe. I was so nervous I had no idea what to do, so I just squeezed my eyes shut. And then out of nowhere, I felt something pinch my thigh. Ow! What the? My eyes shot open and I saw Ryuki trying to hide his embarrassment. He released his steadying grip on me and reverted to his old, calm, slightly condescending gaze. I just love it. Like you knew that you weren't gonna have a kiss moment, but like it's still leading up, and you're like, we're not gonna have a kiss moment. I mean, are we gonna have a kiss moment? Is it? And there's like pinch. Ah, well, I should have known. Like, I knew, but I still just thought maybe. When your feet go numb, you can pinch other places to wake them up. Really? When I was young, I'd sit on the floor and listen to my grandmother's lectures. If my feet went numb, I'd pinch my thighs. You're okay with getting handsy with my thighs, buddy? Okay. Oh, I see. I pinched my thigh again. Just like he said, I could feel the numbness from before fade a bit. Better? Yeah, I think so. Good. Then we should go. Without warning, Ryuki started walking ahead of me. As I followed him, I took a quick glance behind me at where Owen and Melanie had been standing. There was obviously nothing there, but their kiss burned so brightly in my memory that I could feel my ears getting hot again. So cute. I should have turned the light on before I sat down, because it's getting dark in here. Well, after leaving her at the subway station, I walked back to my house alone. What's going on? Back at the subway, my cheeks were so hot that I couldn't even look at her as she left. I couldn't form a proper sentence, which I'm sure made me look even more suspicious. I wanted to tell her that I wasn't embarrassed, but I couldn't even get that out. I'm not embarrassed. Could you imagine after the kiss and everything, and then you're at the subway, and you're like, okay, I'm not embarrassed. What? And all because I saw those two kiss. And thinking about it, I could feel my face getting hot again. And that was the first time I'd ever seen someone kiss in real life. You've never seen a kiss in real life? So, like, no one's ever kissed you? Oh, poor little Ryuki. Never been kissed. You're Drew Barrymore. I had no idea how to react. I tried acting normal, but I couldn't. I felt ashamed and confused. And so I just looked at her. But then her face turned red too, which just made me feel even more awkward. But if she was blushing, does that mean it was the first time for her too? I wondered if maybe she'd never actually kissed anyone herself. I was surprised to find that I was relieved at the thought. That's so adorable. Huh? Why does that make me feel relieved? I don't care if she's kissed before. Yes, you do. But no, I realized that I didn't like the thought of her kissing someone else at all. Huh? My heart was pounding. My pulse was quickening. My face was hot and I was breathing faster. Her smile, her delicate hands in mine, even the face she made eating that cake, it all came flooding back at once. And what's happening to me? I don't like this. Mood! Mood! What is happening to me? I don't like this. Not even just about falling in love, but I just feel like I don't like this is just a mood for like half of my life. You're certain plate, you're like, this, I feel like even when you are like crushing, you get that crush feeling. You're like, oh, I mean, I don't like this. This is gonna end bad. It was like the two of us had actually been on a date all day today. You just now figured that out, sweet cheeks. But that's impossible. It's DA536E, and we know that that's her color. But I can't deny that I had fun. Which must be why I nearly kissed her. And part of me wants to say that I was just thinking about imitating Owen. But either way, I was completely ready to kiss her. I've never wanted to do that before. What the heck is going on? That's so cute. And then he was like, pinch her thigh before I kiss her. We're like, eyes closed, and he's like, I was gonna, the panic look on his face as he pinches her thigh just to avoid kissing her. I had no clue. Embarrassed and confused, I just started running. I had to calm down. If I could just get home, see Kagura, read the 10 Keisain commandments again, then everything would go back to normal. His strange feeling was just temporary. I was just having a moment of confusion. Sure that this was the case, I kept running down the moonlit street. Oh, sweet, innocent baby Ryuki, I love it. Overheating. Oh, hi. The next morning, I ate breakfast in a daze and watched the morning news with Claris. Here's a look at Lost York Park during the beer festival held recently. Lost York Park. Last night came floating back into my mind, and it put me on edge again. I took a bite of toast to try and distract myself. See, I wouldn't have been able to sleep. I'd have been thinking about that whole situation all night long, overthinking it. Why did I get such a thrill just from seeing two people kiss? Oh. It's not like I haven't seen that a million times before. Back in Celestia, I watched total strangers making out nearly every minute of every day. Girl, you don't need to share your kinks with us. And of course, I've seen that kind of thing in countless romantic movies, too. But that kiss last night felt like I was watching it happen for the first time, and I was so incredibly embarrassed. Maybe it was because Ryuki was there next to me. Hey, oh my god, Claris! First time! Hey, so what were you up to on your day off yesterday? You got back pretty late, didn't you? I don't remember her voice, but that's good enough for now. Huh? Yesterday? Well, I just went and saw a movie. All by yourself? No, with... You know, you've been pretty busy lately, huh? It seems like you're out and about anytime you have a day off. Did you find yourself a boyfriend or something? No, it's not like that at all. Oh, yeah? But we're talking about a guy here, right? Well, I'll tell you this. I bet he thinks it's like that. Huh? Guys don't usually meet up with a girl more than once if he's not into her. So if you ask me, he definitely likes you. Listen, Claris. That's not true. Guys and girls are capable of being friends without there being sex involved. I get that you are a different breed. You and Alan are a different breed, but like, girl. Ryuki likes me? I mean, he does now, but... The glamour parasite. The guy who said I barely rank high enough to consider me as acquaintance. No, I really don't think so. You've been meeting up with him a lot, am I right? Well, kind of. But it's not meeting up exactly. It's kind of like work-related. But if there was nothing there, you wouldn't be hanging out with him on your day off. It was an accident? And I've noticed all the gifts you've been getting. Makeup, clothes, accessories. Don't tell me you bought all that stuff. How did you know? I knew it, because those aren't the kinds of things you normally buy for yourself. I thought it was kind of suspicious. That's definitely a good sign, but it's not clear if he knows how you feel yet, right? You think so? Maybe. Let me ask you this. The two of you have kissed already, right? What? No, we haven't. I mean, how can we kiss if we're not dating? You think so? You don't have to be dating someone to have a little makeout session these days. Oh, you don't have to be dating to have sex either, sweetie, but let's not go there. What? What? As Cupid, I've always seen kissing as something you do after you've fallen in love. No, sometimes you're interested in someone and then you kiss them and then no, that's not compatible. You have to taste test. Ah, so fucking wrong. This is so gross. You have to sample the menu, right? You're just like kiss and you're like, no. It's like taking a bite of the crab cakes and being like, no. But Claris has always been more of a free spirit. Back in college, whenever I tried to get her to see things my way, she'd just verbally duck and dive away. So I gave that up. But this time, I was the one who wanted to know what she thought. I couldn't stop thinking about that kiss. Is kissing really that great? Of course! Frankly, I'm bummed to hear you haven't even gone that far yet. Claris licked her lips and flashed a bewitching smile. Whenever I kiss someone, it feels like I'm on fire, and I can definitely get a sense of their love or whatever. But is that because you're you, not like a normal woman? Like, we should have known that she was like an incubus or whatever, just like what's his face, like Alan, just because she's constantly licking her lips and he's constantly well, maybe he was like got his tongue on us. What was that, CG? Anyway, we should have known longer, but people don't usually phrase it as love or whatever. Don't get hung up on the details. The point is, kissing makes me happy. Like things are really getting serious. I highly recommend giving it a shot with someone you like. Don't just grab some random guy off the street, of course. But the sooner you kiss him and fall in love, the better. Don't come crying to me if someone else swoops in and grabs him. This is where we're like, someone could... Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Claris. That is funny. That's hilarious. Okay, no one's gonna swoop in and trust me. He's got such an attitude problem, it's physically impossible. Just hurry up and take that leap. No! I'm not gonna do it! But it's so nice! It'd be such a shame if you don't get to experience it. Is it really that good? My curiosity was already piqued, and Claris was just making it that much worse. I couldn't help but wonder what it was like to share a kiss. I'd seen people do it all my life in Celestia and saw it again in person yesterday, but I'd never actually experienced it for myself. I mean, okay, here's what you could do. You could be like, alright, so one day you're talking to Ryuki and you just kiss him. And then it either works out or it doesn't. But if it doesn't work out, you feel embarrassed and you can never talk to him again. Like, literally, that's it. Never talk to him again. And then you will be, like, in a shame spiral forever. This is why it's hard. A kiss can be sweet, or it can be sour. I remembered hearing that line in one of Aunt Minerva's movies. A kiss. I put a finger into my lips and looked up at the ceiling. I still couldn't imagine kissing someone. Okay, you can't imagine kissing someone. Can you imagine kissing Ryuki? When I got to work and turned on my computer, I saw that I had an email from a client and one other person. Ryuki. Huh? The company president? It asked if I could come to his office at 11 a.m. to talk about the Parasite 5. Parasite 5? As I wondered what this could be about, I checked my schedule, then replied that 11 a.m. would be no problem. Oh, are we going to go back to Parasite House again? Do we do that in every round? We did it once. We did, like, the Return to Parasite House, but, like, I don't remember doing that. Did we do that each time? I don't remember. Right away, his reply came back. I'll see you then. As usual, the president was quick to get back to me. The Parasite 5. I reconnected with Yuki, but it's been forever since I talked to the other Parasite House members. Gil, Raoul, Alan. I wonder whatever happened to Monsieur Essay. Owen hasn't mentioned him since then. Is that what Mr. Snail wants to talk about? The whole thing was on hold last I knew. Whatever it was, it had to be work-related. I put it out of my mind and focused on my tasks for the day. As 11 o'clock rolled around, I headed up to the president's office. And so, during a business dinner, business dinner? Wow. And so, during a business dinner the other day, and they said they wanted to do a spread on the Parasite 5. A special magazine spread, huh? Oh, okay, so it's not Return to Parasite House. Sorta. Magazine version. And that's right. Parasite House is still really popular. Lost York TV has been getting inquiries almost daily. And the reporter wants to do a feature focusing on what everyone's up to these days. And they all canceled their memberships, correct? Normally we don't reach out to members after they leave, but this request is unrelated to the company, so it's not our place to decide. And so could you get in touch with them? Of course. Gil and Raoul did message me once in a while. Alan didn't reply, but I was sure he read my message. I thought it wouldn't be too hard. The others should be fine, but I don't actually have any contact info for Monsieur Essays, so that one might be tough. In his case, I'm sure Owen can... Actually, there might be an issue with Owen acting as his representative. You see, Owen went on a date the other day, so... What? Crap, I probably shouldn't have mentioned that. I tried to play it off, but he clearly heard exactly what I'd said. Mr. Snail stiffened, then crossed his arms and looked down at his desk. I see. So he beat me to it. Huh? He beat me to it? Beat him to what? I guess he wanted to get something done, but something else got in the way? He beat me to dating? Were you interested in Melanie? How dare you? Whatever it was, I couldn't ask someone who was about to start a relationship to act as a proxy and agent. Oh, in agency-related business. When I explained this to Mr. Snail, he nodded and let out a reluctant sigh. Actually, Monsieur Essay let me know personally that he was giving up on marriage. Oh, really? Then I guess it's just the Parasite 4 now. Maybe, but I was still hoping to use the Parasite 5 name for the feature, which is why I wanted Owen to help out. Mr. Snail sighed again. Why can't I read today? Then made a face as if he'd made up his mind. I suppose it can't be helped. I'll stand in as a representative instead. So funny. Huh? You, Mr. Snail? I'm the only other person involved with the show who's available, after all. Anyway, I'll go in Monsieur Essay's place. I'd like you to get in touch with the other 4. He'll go in his place, because he is. Love you, Shelby. Understood. And so, after who knows how long, I got in touch with everyone from the Parasite 5. A few days later, the Parasite 5 were all gathered together one more time. I know it's been quite some time, but thank you all for joining me here today. As I mentioned in the email, today I'd like to... Okay. You don't have to be so formal. We're not your clients anymore, right? Right. I'm just here as your friend. I love you. Marry me. I can build Bumblepig. Yeah, how could I say no to a fellow mythology lover? And my manager said it was fine to come, so... God, I missed you so much, you adorable fucking himbo. God, I love him. Oh, but it seems like we're missing someone. And for reasons I won't go into, I'll be taking his place for today. Wow, so the president of Cupid Corps himself is going to be acting as a stand-in. It's all part of the job. So did everyone get a chance to look over the proposal? Mr. Snail took over and started explaining the details to everyone. The magazine wanted an extended feature that would touch on what everyone was up to these days. They also wanted Gil to edit the article and Ryuki to put together the wardrobe for the photoshoot. Oh my god! Please give me a fucking CG of them all in Ryuki outfits. Fuck you, game, if you don't. All that Alan, Raoul, and Mr. Snail had to do was talk about their projects, work, or whatever they were working on. So that's the basic idea. Is everyone on board with this? Yeah, I'm totally in. Whatever I can do to help, I'll do it.
Same here. But if I'm supposed to talk about work, does that mean I should talk about how to get someone into bed?
I'd prefer if you could just talk about how you pick out the perfect pillow, please. I think I'll talk about some of the subtle mythology differences I've uncovered lately. That's not work. Look at his eyes glowing. Well, could you try and talk about your upcoming film and how excited you are for it? Oh, I guess.
Hi, what you doing, buddy boo? Don't let me in my microphone. You're so cute, but don't in my microphone. Oh, don't bite. It's nasty bird. It's a nasty bird. Don't be around. Anyway.
Personally, I want to focus on the recent fluctuation in the company's stock price. Actually, Mr. Snail, in your case, I'd love if you could talk about the secrets to a successful marriage. Of course. Sweats profusely. That's what the overheating's about. He's overheating. He's like, I don't know how to do this. Anyway. And for Ryuki... Ryuki was sitting in the corner, and when I called his name, he looked up as if he just noticed I was there. What? I was just wondering if you'd be able to help me pick out the wardrobe for the article. Oh, sure. Without another word, he turned away again. Ryuki? I just have to pick out clothes for everyone here and style them on the day of, right? And don't worry, I can handle that. Thanks, Ryuki! And don't mention it. I do this kind of thing all the time. When will the article be published anyway? Ryuki continued the conversation without ever making direct eye contact with me. The exchange made me feel a little uncomfortable, so I looked down at the materials in my hand. At the moment, it's scheduled for a December release. Okay, and then I'll bring my upcoming February LY collection. I'm in the middle of putting it all together right now. You really make clothes that far in advance? Every designer worth their salt has started working on it. In fact, I'm a little bit behind. That's true. February, I guess the LY is Lost York. Anyway, that's true. I forgot just how quickly the fashion industry moves.
But we're gonna do a photo shoot, huh? I feel like a proper model.
If you're going to wear my clothes, you'd better be ready. I won't allow any of you to embarrass me.
Okay.
But will we have the time? I assumed we could just take the photos in whatever clothes we were wearing. The shoot is on this day, right? In that case, we have time. If I couldn't make that date, I'd have much bigger problems. I see. For perspective, by the time the magazine comes out, the entire line will be sold out. Anyway, I'll have the clothes ready by the day of the shoot. I don't foresee any problems. He tapped his fingers on the calendar. The shoot was 3 days from now. Well then, that's very helpful. Could you let her know when everything is ready? I'm moving on to other business. Mr. Snail briskly moved the conversation along, but Ryuki looked like he wasn't paying any attention. He just sat there fidgeting. There was clearly something wrong with him. He kept sighing to himself and making a face as if he was in pain. I wonder if he's not feeling well. I kept a close eye on him, and eventually his eyes met mine. He's like, oh, she's looking at me. But just as quickly, he turned his gaze away. It was, frankly, really strange. I hope he's not coming down with something. What are you doing? We were seated pretty far away from each other, so I didn't have a chance to ask him what was going on. But all through the meeting, I couldn't help but worry about him. Okay, so please be sure to follow the itinerary we just discussed on the day of.
Okay.
Okay! Now then, if you'll excuse me. Mr. Snail looked at his watch and rushed out of the room before anyone else. I assumed he had another meeting to attend. He's got to research how happy marriage is.
All right, I'm out of here.
One by one, everyone got up from their seats. Gil grabbed all his belongings and came running over to me.
Hey, Spacey, if you're free tonight, I was thinking we could...
Gil, my friend, what are you up to tonight? I brought that movie we were talking about the other day. Why don't we give it a watch? Oh, Raoul, wingman and Ryuki, because like Gil's like, what are you doing? We can hang out. Maybe we could like get married. And then Raoul's like, oh my god, Gil, be friends with me. And Gil's like trying to get all up in my shit. Huh? No, Oh, you don't mind if I join you, do you? Not at all. The more the merrier. I'd love to hear what you think of it. Okay, looks like the three of us. Looks like it's the three of us. No, hold on. Come on then. Let's get going. Alan knows. Alan can feel it. Alan like rubs against us as he leaves. Like, oh, I'm sorry. I just, if when you're like, it's in a tight space and you're like trying to get past someone and he's just like, and you're like, there's plenty of room. What are you doing? I can tell you're in love with Ryuki. Raoul and Alan grabbed Gil and dragged him away. I caught Ryuki glancing at me, but then he left the room without saying a word. I guess he really isn't feeling well today. I got the sense he didn't want to talk to anyone, so I left him alone, but I still found myself worrying about him. I was cleaning up and thinking about sending him a message later when I noticed a pen fall under the table. Oh, this is Ryuki's pen. I recalled seeing him use it when he was working on his designs. I quickly ran after him to give it back. Hey, Ryuki, run! No! As he runs. I caught up with him right near the entrance to Cupid Core. Ryuki, there you are! I'm glad I caught you. This is yours, right? I found it in the conference room. As I handed him the pen, our fingertips happened to touch, and Ryuki jerked away like he'd been shocked. He jumped away from us. Ryuki? He looked at me with dismay, and his eyes seemed to be tearing up. Suddenly, his face turned red, and he started to breathe in quick, short gasps. Oh my god, he doesn't know how to deal. It's cute. I knew it. He must be coming down with something. He was exactly just like Claris did when she was laid up with a bad head cold. Okay, so this is the first time in Ryuki's route we've hit something aside from them saying oh, on our date, but they meant Owen and whatever. So that was just one minor thing. That was nothing. But this is the weirdest fucking sentence. Doesn't make any sense at all. So he's basically acting the way Claris does when she's laid up with a bad head. Okay, anyway. But he didn't seem to realize he was sick. I figured someone had to tell him, and it may as well be me. Sorry about this, but... Huh? Boom. Look at his face. I reached out my hand and put it on his forehead. I assumed he'd have a fever, but... Huh? It felt warm, but no more so than any other forehead. It's hard to tell. I put my other hand up to his forehead to get a second opinion. A little warmer than me, maybe, but... Even if it was a slight fever, it could get way worse if left untreated. I think she meant her other hand up to her forehead, not his forehead, but whatever. And I knew that Ryuki was likely to keep working hard with no regard for his own health. He never cut himself any slack, and he refused to stop until the job was done. You know, the flu's been going around a lot lately. I think you need to get some rest. What? Ryuki? I'm fine. Ryuki? Ryuki pulled away from me and suddenly took off running. This is so cute. This is exactly how you act when you're in love with someone and then they touch you. And they run. What, just me? Oh, God, did I read that? Anyway, he said he's fine, but I'm not so sure. I was still worried, but I figured he'd just get annoyed if I kept bothering him about it. He does look after his health in order to maintain his beauty, so I'm sure he'll be fine, right? Still feeling uneasy, I went back to my desk. She's just going to go to his house later. He said I could come over whenever I wanted. 3 days later, it was the day that the final wardrobe outfits were supposed to arrive, but I hadn't heard anything from Ryuki. That's strange. Usually Ryuki is really good about keeping me up to date on his work. I tried calling him again on the way home, but he didn't pick up. I'd also sent him several messages, but he never replied. In fact, they were never even marked as read. I couldn't deny that I was pretty worried. Would it be too much for me to go to his house? He did say I could stop by any time. Bark! Just then, a sharp sound startled me out of my thoughts. I looked down to see Kagura standing in front of me. Kagura? What are you doing here? Where's Ryuki? I looked around, but I didn't see him anywhere. She gently took my hand in her mouth and tugged as if she wanted me to come with her. Smart dog. Did she, like, fucking come, like, oh my god, did Ryuki fall down a well? Bark! Bark, bark, bark! Figure she's panicking. I decided to let her lead me away, and before long, we arrived at Ryuki's house. I saw that the door was unlocked. Kagura must have unlocked it somehow. I nervously went inside. I mean, the dog knows how to unlock doors. This is dangerous. Bye. Ryuki, sorry to disturb you like this. The entry was freezing and the whole house was dark. I turned the lights on and unconsciously dropped my bag at what I saw. It was Ryuki, collapsed in the middle of the room, surrounded by his own drawings. Ryuki? I ran over and dropped down next to him. I didn't think he was actually sick. He worked himself into a frenzy. I touched his cheek and was shocked at what I felt. It's so hot. He hadn't been feeling well. I knew it. I should have made more of an effort. Seeing him in such obvious agony, I nearly started crying. But no, I knew he needed some water. Then I needed to get him into bed, but I had to act quick. Ryuki, it's gonna be okay. Ryuki! Ryuki? Don't die on me from a cold! You know how, like, because everybody in, like, F4B3C2... Hold on. Let me scroll up in the guide. Hold on. And we need our phone. I don't have my phone to look up the things. Okay, so it's F4B3C2 BCE2E8. Okay. So, let's go to our thing. And are you ready? I'll tell you what it is again. Okay, so it is... Oh, fucking A. Whoops, that's not what I want. Hashtag F4B3C2. A very light rosy pink color. Okay. Let's open a new browser and see what this other one is. New tab. And the next one is hashtag BCE2E8. I feel like I'm calling out like bingo numbers, but you know. And that's a very light blue. Oh. Are those supposed to be like, because like, you know, it's pink if it's the girl, blue if it's the boy, and they're like pastel pink and pastel blue, so it's like a boy and a girl. You know what I mean? Oh, we have a romantic chapter. Is that it? Anyway, so those are the colors. Like a pastel rosy pink and a pastel blue. Pretty colors. Ryuki! I could hear her voice in the distance. Spacey is surely the most annoying advisor Cupid Corps has ever seen. But why was I hearing her voice? It's not like she was there in my house with me. Ugh, my head is killing me. I'm so thirsty. I can't think straight. My fever's too much. This is all her fault. It's her fault for being so cute in the first place. She was supposed to be DA536E, but she was just so beautiful it gave me a fever. We made a man sick with how pretty we... Your looks make me sick! Not exactly what that means, usually, but okay. "3 days ago, the day of the magazine meeting. Okay, let me just check everyone's schedules." I sighed as I watched her work quickly and efficiently. It's so strange. Her makeup colors and contours are the same as ever, but she looks so much cuter. See, this is what love does to you. You're like someone like, they're good looking, and then you fall in love with them and you're like, you're the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Are my eyes lying to me? Or is her makeup actually better than usual somehow? And no matter how hard I looked, it was obvious that her hair, her skin, her makeup, it was no different than any other day. And yet she looked better than I'd ever seen her. Her clear voice, her smiling face, somehow her grade had gone up by at least 10 points. I can't read right now. And when she came close to me, I thought I was going to completely stop breathing. A little warmer than me, maybe, but of course I'm going to heat up if you get that close. It was so hot I felt like my head might explode. It was all because of that adorable face right in front of me. But none of it made any sense. It was completely impossible. Thinking about it logically, there was no reason she should be so cute. I love he's like trying to put logic in this. So adorable. So the first thing I did after the meeting was go to the eye doctor. It must be some kind of visual defect making her look cuter than normal. And that's the only explanation. They're like, why are you here? Because I saw a girl and she looks cuter than normal and I don't get it. It's physically impossible. Nothing about her has changed. She's like, are you in love with her? Shut up! I was totally convinced that my eyesight must be failing, but... Nope, there's nothing wrong with your eyes. Nothing? Nothing at all. Your eyes are about as perfect as eyes can get, so you don't have to worry about that. Oh, my eyes are perfect. And then what's going on? I went to a few more eye doctors just to make sure, but they all said the same thing. And finally, I headed home, still with no idea what was going on. Love? Kagura. I crouched down and scratched her head. She gave me a pleased look in return. And nobody's as beautiful as my Kagura, and she was exactly as beautiful as I remembered. Weird. So everyone else looks the same as ever. Then why does she look so much cuter? I feel like if he said that out loud, the dog would have just smacked him till he figured it out. And just then my phone rang. It was my sister calling me from Japan. Hey, Ryuki! How are you? Fine as ever. How are you? I'm doing great, naturally, but I gotta be honest, you sure don't sound fine. No, it's nothing, but, well, my eyes have been acting up on me lately. Your eyes? That's not good. What's the matter? Are you getting enough sleep? You're not going blind, are you? No, nothing like that. It's just, her beauty grade is supposed to be average, but she looks so pretty. Huh? This is definitely something you need to tell me about. Her color is DA536E and her skincare routine is average at best. She shouldn't be pretty, but she is. So we're talking about one specific girl here? Yeah, but no other girls have changed. Kagura looks the same, for one. So I went to a bunch of eye doctors today. I thought maybe something was wrong with my eyes, but... Ryuki, you eternal idiot! Don't you see? It's love! Duh! Huh? Love? I'm in love? Gosh, you had me so worried! But this is obviously love. So help me if you let this chance pass you by. Oh, by the way, I was hoping you could send me some soap from that Lost York boutique I love. I could hear my sister talking on the other end of the line, but I had no idea what she was saying. You're talking about soap, but I'm just confused. Love? I'm in love with her? I thought about all the times I'd heard her laugh and felt a stabbing pain in my chest. It's like, no, I have a heart condition. My heart started beating faster. My cheeks got hot. My chest tightened up. And was this what it meant to be in love? He's like, this feels like a heart attack. Are you sure? Is it love or a heart attack? But I'd never heard of love making your eyes go crazy. Apparently it changed how you saw people regardless of their beauty grade, which meant I was losing my sense of objective beauty. This isn't good. I still haven't come up with a single design that could satisfy my grandmother. If I fall in love, I'll be ruined as a designer. I'm not supposed to fall in love! Ryuki, hey, are you listening to me? Sorry, I'm a little busy right now. Hey, wait a second! I ended the call, tossed the phone away from me, and quickly opened up my sketchbook. And the truth was, I was scared. I hated the idea of losing my talent as a designer. But no, it should be fine, right? And there was no reason I couldn't work the same as always. No, you're gonna be better. I caught my breath and started sketching the clothes we'd wear for the photo shoot that we talked about earlier that day. But something happened that I didn't understand. And no matter how much I drew, I couldn't figure out what was good, what was right. Up until now, I'd always been supremely confident in myself, a sense of style. But now, I just couldn't figure it out. I thought I had a perfect image of the trends I wanted to incorporate into my LY collection and my customers' needs. But even with all that in mind, I couldn't tell if the designs I was sketching were good or totally lame. And that had never happened to me before. I was sure I must be losing my mind. You spiral into insanity when you're like, what is happening to me? This is literally what it feels like when you're like, wait, I like this person. Do I like this person? But what if they don't like me? And then what happens? And then your whole life is just like fucking a mess. Stressful, man. Stress! I get it. I'm stressed out too, Ryuki. Different reasons, but still. All I knew was that I couldn't fall in love and that it would ruin me as a designer. It's too late. You can't help it. Still, I kept on working on my designs. I didn't eat. I didn't sleep. I didn't care that it was ruining my beauty regimen. I was just scared. I kept drawing and drawing and drawing, as if doing that could push everything away. And finally, I came down with a fever. I'm gonna say it's blood sugar low because, like, you haven't eaten. I managed to drag Ryuki to his futon and sat down next to him. Back in college, Gil always took care of Claris whenever she was sick, so I had a pretty good idea of what to do. Ryuki... Grrr. Kagura also sat next to the sleeping Ryuki, obviously anxious. His breathing was shallow, as if he was in pain even now. I got a bowl of water and put a wet towel to his forehead. I hope he'll be okay. Could you imagine? He's in his futon, he's got the wet towel on his head, blah, 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 there's water next to him. You go to the bathroom and he wakes up and is like, wow, Kagura is really fucking amazing. This dog put a wet towel on my head. Like, especially when you have a fever, you're like, Spacey, did you see this? My dog put a towel on my head. Like, my heart ached for him. I nervously squeezed his hand, unsure what I would do if his fever kept getting worse. Take him to a hospital? Doctor? I made him some porridge, but he still isn't waking up. I'd done a search online for Japanese food when sick and made a batch of rice porridge based on the results. Just then Ryuki's eyes fluttered open and he frowned. Huh? Bark! Bark! Kagura. Ryuki sat up and gave Kagura a pet. I was overjoyed to see his usual calm face. Ryuki, thank goodness. At the sound of my voice, he looked over at me and went completely stiff. I bet. Oh, inappropriate. What the? You had a fever. You collapsed. Don't you remember? Kagura came to find me. Bark, bark! He's like, stupid dog! She's like, ah! Oh, smart fucking dog. She's a smart dog, but he'd be like, damn it! Dog, she stresses me out! But what are you... Huh? What's wrong? Of everyone in the world, what are you doing here? Grrr! No, Kagura, it's not your fault. If anyone's to blame, it's me. Are you okay? You probably still have a fever. I tried to put my hand on his forehead again, but he pushed me away. Stop it! I don't have a fever. What? But... why are you so pretty? You're like a gradient from F4B3C2 to BC3... wait. BCE2E8! Oh, so those are the colors. I'm like a gradient from that light pink color to that blue color. So those are the colors again if you wanted to look them up if you didn't get them when I was reading them out like fucking bingo numbers. You're like a gradient from like light pink to light blue and then you think of the purple in between. Ooh, it does sound pretty. Wow, I'm not just one color. I'm like a fucking rainbow. Bitch, you're right. I am a fucking rainbow. Huh? Just leave me alone. I don't need you. I'll be fine. What? Be careful! Ryuki was starting to wobble, and I rushed to grab onto him. His entire body was still surprisingly hot. See, you're still burning up. You need to drink some water, then... Why, Ryuki grabbed my arm. He seemed on the verge of tears. No. No, I don't want you to be pretty. Pretty? He didn't sound like himself. I stiffened with surprise. Did I mishear him, maybe? The glamour parasite would never say something like that. But he did. He did say it. I couldn't believe he thought that I was pretty. like that. She's like, what? Maybe I misheard him. No, he said I was pretty. What? The arm wrapped around me was hot. The head on my shoulder was hot. And my own head was hot, as if I had a fever myself. Whatever's happening right now, I need to take care of him. In that moment, I was his nurse. I shook my head to push away the warmth in my cheeks, let go of Ryuki, and stood up. Oh, I made some porridge. Do you think you can eat some? Ryuki looked at me, then nodded slightly. I think so. Good. Just give me a second. I put a glass of water in the pot of porridge on a tray, then carried it over to the futon. Okay, eat up. I'm not sure if it'll be to your taste, but... Ryuki drank the water, then picked up the spoon. Even in that moment, he had a stubborn look on his face. He's like, I'm gonna not like it. I guess I'll try some. His voice was weak, probably thanks to the fever. He was clearly suffering. Yeah, I mean, he kind of is. Still in a bit of a daze, he took a small bite of the porridge. As he swallowed, he blinked a few times. It's good. Really? I'm so happy. I've never made Japanese food before, so I was worried I messed it up. Actually, it's delicious. Although, I'm not sure if I'm tasting it right. Huh? No, never mind. Ryuki just stared at the bowl and ate his porridge in silence. I started to get the sense that it wasn't just his fever making him act like he was in so much pain. Alright, I'm going to stop there, because I don't want to go too far over like we usually do. I want to keep it right around time, so this is a good place. So anyway, I was like, is this where we're going to get the kiss? We don't know. But anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.